Welcome back to the Tiger Hangout. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Super 7 and some of more of their Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I mean, I really love the Dungeons and Dragons stuff that's going on. I actually am considering a video, or working on a video for what the progression of the fantasy lines are, from Crystar to Dragon Riders and Styx to Dungeons and Dragons to other things that are out there. But till I get into that a little bit deeper, we're just going to be talking about Super 7 today and what they're showing with this. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff that they're revealing, that they're making. It's kind of exciting, and I do want to admit it's expensive. I have a guess on what I think the price of Tiamat's going to be. If you see the thumbnail, I guess you know my guess. I guess you've already figured out my guesswork. But I'll explain why I think it is the price that it is. But there's some cool stuff that they're making, and I really like Super 7. I mean, again, I always call myself the biggest Super 7 shill that's out there, and I'm okay with that. I'm pretty fine with that. But they make stuff that nobody else has made or is going to make. They go deeper. They take risks, which is part of the fun of Super 7. Still a little bit part of the problem, but it's great that they're doing it. I'm excited, and I'm going to be in on all this stuff if I can. But let's talk about this and more coming up. I had planned on talking about this in my actual news, but there was so much going on with TFCon and other things. SCCC's around the corner. Tiamat. The only Tiamat we've ever gotten made, aside from Funko Pop, and there's a Funko Pop Tiamat, which is nowhere near as good as this, but it was only like $30. Now it might be like 80. But this Tiamat is a good Tiamat. It's got movable heads, movable arms, it's got a working jaw, and then it's got kind of this, the hands the paws can grip a figure and pick a figure up. It is a cool Tiamat. I like it. I think it's a great Tiamat. But it's very expensive on the secondary market. To give a complete, you spend between $500 and $700 if the wings are not broken. If they're broken, you're still spending up there $350 to $400 for some broken wings. If you get one in the box, you're looking at anywhere between $600 to $1,000 for a loose one. Sealed is just unrealistic. But the reality of it is that getting a vintage Tiamat is hard. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to go get me one of these LJN Tiamats, and I'm going to put it next to my Super 7 Ultimates figures, it's going to be way too small. So enter Super 7 with their solution. Big Bertha. Well, Tiamat. She's huge. She's 15.6 inches tall. You think about a 7-inch figure. A 7-inch figure goes up, so about halfway. So up to where the wings, up to her back, basically. And it would work in the show. And some people say it's even undersized for Ultimates, and it would work better with the Hasbro, but still. I don't think I'd want it any bigger than this because I'm running out of space, but I want this pretty bad. And it's going to be made of vinyl. I think, based on the pictures and the way I've analyzed this, that the legs will have just very simplistic movement, like some front and back, and that's it. And I think that's literally all the articulation. The rest is considered a statue. We might see some wing movement in it too, depending on how it's built. That might be something we don't know just yet. Sadly, we don't know all of the answers just yet. But this is a really nice looking one. Very true to the cartoon. It's made of vinyl. It's not plastic. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be soft. And, you can make your jokes about her being soft if you want to. She has all 5 of her heads. None of them have articulation. But with vinyl, you're going to be able to move them a little bit, but then as soon as you let go of them, they're going to go bounce right back to this position. It is basically a statue. And a statue with maybe movable legs, so a action figure, maybe. Nobody said anything just yet, but it looks really nice. But then, what's the price? Closer look at the faces and the heads. Now, where am I getting my pricing structure from? I did watch good old Jay, Geek Dead Life, and he knows the price. He won't tell the price. So he played coy with, basically, he gave it away. Because they were talking about different items Super 7's made, and different pricing structures and pricing levels. And somewhere in there, he just kind of threw out more of this one. And so that was $295 figure. So this should be about $300. And at $300, it's beyond expensive. Hasbro made it. They could have made it for $89 or something. But the fact that it's Super 7, $300. At $300, I can only really buy one. I can justify one. At $200, though, at $200, I could justify two. And I would buy two. Now, at $300 to buy one, maybe later on I could buy another one cheaper, or maybe just buy another one at $300, depending on, financial situation at the time. But I'm starting to try to stick to a budget, which is really hard. But anyway, with all of this, $300 looks like it's going to be the price. If it's $400, man, I got to think hard and long. Long and hard? Long and hard. Okay, long and hard if I'm in on it. Now, I do want to point out, you're going to hear a lot of people saying, I'm in on it no matter the price, no matter the cost. One thing I want to point out about the people that are in it no matter the cost. A production run from Super 7 needs to be at least 5,000. I think they make generally 10,000 or more of everything, unless it's a repaint. So they make a base figure, and then say Jaga, the clear Jaga, that might have only been 1,000. That might have been 800. Whoever just pre-ordered it, and that's it. That might have been 800 or 1,000. This, on the other hand, is all new mold, all new everything. So it's got to have a minimum quantity for them to break even quantity, which they're still going to make a profit. Don't get me wrong. But with that, people that are saying, I'm going to buy it at the cost, might only be 150 people. I mean, in reality, 150 people can buy it no matter the cost. Is that going to meet their 5,000 minimum quantity? Probably not. Now, this video is not just about a $500, $300, $200 Tiamat. Come on, please, Brian. Brian, I'm your biggest shill. Give it to me for $200. Let me buy. I tell you what, if it's $200, I'll buy 3. Will that make you happy, Brian? Please? Please, Brian. All right, so here we are with the Invisible Sheila. Let me tell you this. I have started really falling in love with invisible clear figures. The clear figures, Crystar really got me excited. I had Tron. Literally, I had my Tron figures. Just they were mixed in with some Star Wars. And I was like, hey, I got Tron figures. I got a Tron collection. And so, moving from there, I had bought more clear figures. And I've been buying modern clear figures as cheap as I can, of course. But this is the best use of clear that I've ever seen. Now, I would have kind of liked clear, but with a purple tint to it. I really felt like she should have had a clear purple tint to it. But when she does go invisible, she's fully invisible. So the purple tint would have probably been bad. I understand my wanting it to be purple doesn't really match the reality of it just being clear. So my wants don't match reality. I understand that. So this is probably more accurate. And with that, I can accept it. I can accept more accurate. So there she is. Different head sculpts and stuff. This will be the first figure we get for the line. So we get the actual figure. They did this with the Cobra Bat for G.I. Joe. So this is kind of a mantra of Super 7 to do this thing, but pretty cool. There she is, just kind of showing her what's going on. This is really cool. And, it's awesome that they did this. Hasbro did like a partial clear on the hood or something like that. But this is amazing. This is cool. If Hasbro would have put a little bit more heart into theirs, they could have done more with what they had. Instead of just doing one production run and done. They could have made a clear one. They could have done more things than they did. But still, I really like the Hasbro stuff too. I think I'm going to love this. So, like Hasbro, love Super 7. Next, we're getting to the Vecna figure, which I understand that this... I didn't hear about this until we watched that Stranger Things whole thing. Stranger Things, what a fun show. It's out there. It's a little wild. What really kept me in Stranger Things was the fact they were in the 80s. That really was it. And then Dungeons & Dragons was in there. Dungeons & Dragons boomed. The vintage stuff, modern stuff, this whole Dungeons & Dragons and fantasy and sword and sorcery was a big part because of Stranger Things. They talked about the Vecna. Vecna was part of the game and all that kind of stuff, that in my understanding. Anyhow, it looks cool. I'm probably going to be in on one. Maybe down the road, if I get one on sale, I'll get a second. But it looks really cool. They're going deep. Now we're going to talk about reaction glow in the darks. Now, here's the thing about Super 7. Now, love Super 7 or hate them, love reaction or hate them. They made all these, and I don't know if all of them or most of them sold out. But the vast majority of this stuff is sold out. Now, let's put it back out there in glow in the dark. And, oh my gosh, I am really having a trouble not buying glow in the dark stuff. Let me spell this out to you. 5 figures times 20, $100. That's $100. I don't feel like that's worth $100, but I'm going to have trouble not buying it, to tell you the truth. But let's see what we got going on with the rest of it. Now, I bought all these already from BBTS, and I have them. I still can't pronounce them. Is it a Freddy with a scimitar? I don't know. Still pretty cool looking figure. Getting this in glow in the dark is really fun. And then there it is, actually glowing with the glow in the dark. So if you missed out on the first time, now you can have it glow in the dark. Obviously, the first one's probably going to be the most sought after. But the glow in the dark adds to the price. Well, is it going to be cheaper because of it? Then we got this one here. This one is the Formidable Fighter with longsword shield, and it's kind of cool too. These would actually fit in with your LJNs if you want to just like line them up with your LJNs or your Dragon Riders of your sticks or whatever. Sorceress with the what is that? Wand of Fire. Gonna have all these that I haven't pulled them out in a while to look at them. I've actually got them in a box. I was hoping somebody somewhere would have like a loose set for cheap. Here she is glowing in the dark. She's got her dagger. She's got what looks like a fiery kind of weapon. If you know about Visionaries, which would kind of fit in this realm too, Visionaries fit in this realm. Is it Feral that has a tool or a weapon that kind of has a fiery bit to it? Very similar to Feral's. Feral has 2 bits. She's got like 1 center bit. Then we have the Sacred Statue with Brazier and Jewel Die, which is cool too. And by the way, I'm not into the game at all, so this is more about the game than it is about the show or the toy. This would make a really good Halloween kind of bowl. Like you make a big figure with a bowl, and then you can, hey, take 1 piece. Don't take 2 kids. The kids run off with the whole thing. Anyway, there's the reaction figures. Obviously, this video, the biggest part about this video, size-wise and importance-wise and fun-wise and effort-wise on it, is Tiamat. Are you in on this? What price point would be too high for you? 300 your max, 400 your max? If it comes out of, there's absolutely no way it could be 500. That would be Geek Dad. It's 300. I think it's 300. At 300, I'll buy one. But where are you at? Do you think that it should have full-on articulation? Are you disappointed in the lack of articulation? Are you disappointed in anything in this? The vinyl versus plastic? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this benefited you. Will any of this stuff be at SDCC? The Dragon will come later. They'll have one on display at SDCC. The clear version of Sheila is SDCC exclusive. And the rest, all of the stuff will be up for pre-order. Super 7 store. Shows he's carrying some Super 7 product, but super7store.com will have pretty much all of it shortly after or during SDCC. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Jimmy Hanger out.